implemented, and how does it affect retirement funds going forward? It's probably the biggest change in the retirement sphere for quite some time. So we thought best that we put something together that you guys can watch in your own time. If you do have any questions, feel free to pop us an email afterwards. But the question is, why is this happening? Why do we need it? So currently, there's only about 6% of people that are in retirement vehicles, so retirement annuities, pension funds, provident funds, that are actually able to retire comfortably one day. So what the two-pot system is doing, it's got to find a balance between being able to access money that you have before retirement, as well as able to have that compulsory preservation for retirement. So after COVID in 2021, the government found that people, when they lost their jobs, they didn't have any available to be able to survive. And that obviously is not a good thing. And what was happening then is when you resign from your from your provident or pension fund, is that you are able to access your retirement money, which the government actually doesn't want you to do, because that needs to be earmarked for retirement. And what was happening as well, because times were so tough, that people who still had their jobs were resigning from their jobs just to get access to their money. So obviously this caused a bit of a problem. And this is where the balancing act of being able to preserve money for the future, for the retirement, but also to have access to money in case of emergencies. And you're going to get tired of me saying this, but now that you're going to be able to access money from your retirement fund, it should only ever be used for emergencies. Think of it as still your retirement fund, and it needs to be earmarked for that. So where are we in the process? As I said, this has been kind of ongoing since 2021 when it was introduced or proposed, and it now was signed recently in the last month or so by Cyril, and will now come into act. And from the 1st of September 2024, everyone who is part of a pension fund, a provident fund, or retirement annuity will be subject to the new two-pot system. So first, I think it's important to chat about exactly, how it currently works. So currently, as it stands now, and as it has stood for many years, is that all your contributions go into one pot. And then at retirement, you can access 1/3 of that pot in cash as a lump sum, and 2/3 of that buys you a monthly pension. That monthly pension kind of is what substitutes your income in retirement. But essentially, money goes into a pot. At retirement, you can take 1/3 out in cash, and 2/3 buys you a monthly pension. Currently, if you have a retirement annuity, you can only access money at retirement or on death. If you have a pension or work pension or provident fund, you can only access that money on retirement, on death, and then if you resign. And this is the area where the government saw that there was a problem, because people were resigning from their jobs just to access their retirement funds, which is the last thing that you actually want to do. So that's how it currently works. Money goes in at retirement, 1/3, 2/3 split. So now, what is going to happen from the 1st of September 2024? Is it two pots or is it three? So from the 1st of September, all your existing retirement savings accumulated up to that point, so up until the 1st of September, will be allocated to what they're calling the vested pot. And this will be subject to the exact same rules that have applied up to now. So all money that you have in any retirement funds that you have will be in this vested pot, and will have the exact same rules apply currently. The new two-pot system that's being introduced will only include or only start with new contributions from the 1st of September. So the new two pots are what's going to be called the savings pot and the retirement pot. So from the 1st of September 2024, 1/3 of your contributions will go into the savings pot. And from the 1st of September, 2/3 of the contributions will go into the retirement pot. So again, everything accumulated up to this point will stay exactly the same, exact same rules that have applied up to now. It's only contributions made from the 1st of September will then get split 1/3 into the savings pot and 2/3 into the retirement pot. What's going to happen is the savings pot is going to be the pot that you are able to access money from, again, only for emergencies. The savings pot is still part of your retirement, so you don't want to touch the savings pot. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You should always leave it for retirement. But what the government has decided and legislation is that in order to start your savings pot with liquid money that you can access, 10% of funds that you've accumulated in that vested pot will be transferred into that savings pot so that you don't start the savings pot from zero. But that's capped at 30,000 Rand. And the retirement pot, again, is just for retirement. So now, contributions in the savings pot going forward, you'll have 1/3 going into the savings pot and 2/3 going into the retirement pot. Meaning at retirement, you can access the lump sum from the savings pot, and then at retirement, that's what gives you a monthly pension. And then once a year, you can withdraw from the savings pot. That's very important, the savings pot, that you can only withdraw from that pot once a year. So a bit more information on that savings pot. It's an emergency savings pot. It will take time to build up, but it is important to realize that your savings pot, as though you have access to it, it is still only or still earmarked for retirement. So in any rolling 12-year period, or 12-month period, should I say, sorry, you're allowed one withdrawal from that. The minimum that you can access from the savings pot is 2,000 Rand. And on withdrawal, so if you want to withdraw 1,000 Rand, you won't be able to. The minimum withdrawal is 2,000 Rand. And the cost of doing that withdrawal, the admin cost of that, is going to be in the pocket of the member. And a lot of the administrators have already come out and said the admin fee for that is going to be quite high because it's admin intensive and they actually don't want people to access a savings pot because it eats into their retirement. Bless me, apologies. So will you be taxed on withdrawing from your savings pot? Absolutely. The taxman wants his fair share of everything. You'll be taxed at your marginal rate of tax if you withdraw from the savings pot. So what is the marginal rate of tax? It is the tax that you currently pay on your salary, for example. So we know that you get your gross salary and then you get your net salary. That difference, that is your marginal rate of tax, and that's the same tax rate that will be applied when withdrawing from the savings pot. So if you want to withdraw from the savings pot, you first have to get a tax directive. And remember, once this process has started, it cannot be stopped. And what SARS will also do is they will check that your tax returns are up to date. And if they're not, they could deduct any outstanding money owed to them from what you're withdrawing. So if you owe SARS 5,000 Rand and you withdraw 10,000 Rand, they will take 5,000 Rand that's owed to them. So you can see that although you can access your savings pot, it does incur a lot of extra costs. So if you withdraw 2,000 Rand and you're on the lowest tax bracket, just as an example, so you pay 18% tax, and then you still have to pay admin fees. If you're withdrawing 2,000 Rand, you could probably only get 1,300, 1,400 net out. Again, why is this? Is they don't want you actually accessing that savings pot. Bless me, apologies again. It's important to remember, or important to note, that although the change starts from 1 September, all companies are still building systems to manage this change. And some things they can only start on the 1st of September. So don't expect that you can withdraw from your savings pot on the 1st of September. It is going to take a few months before you can actually withdraw. So what does this mean? It means new members joining retirement funds will have that compulsory preservation, which will actually increase their savings in the long term. So the simple system is the savings pot and the retirement pot. For existing members, as I said, the vested pot, everything stays the same. It's just the new savings and retirement pot for existing members. So I won't go too much into this. We've covered quite a bit of it, but there's your vested pot and the savings pot, retirement pot. And yeah, vested pot, everything stays the same. It's just the savings pot and the retirement pot that's new there. So if we had to look at a few examples, let's say, for example, you start work on or after the 1st of September and contribute 3,000 Rand per month. As we know, 1/3 of your contributions will go into your savings pot and 2/3 of your contributions will go into the retirement pot. Something that is very, very important is that all the pots, whether you have the vested pot, the savings pot, the retirement pot, all pots are still invested in the market in the exact same fund, so you will still get that growth as normal. So what happens after 1 year? You can see that after 1 year, if you put 1,000 Rand, 1/3 goes into the savings pot. After 1 year, your savings pot then will be 12,000 Rand, and your retirement pot will be 24,000 Rand. Let's say you withdraw after 1 year, you want to access money from your savings pot. You want to withdraw that 12,000 Rand. You will be taxed at that marginal rate, which means that in year 2, you have to start from 0 again in your savings pot, meaning you've just depleted quite a lot of your retirement. Whereas your retirement pot, because you can't access, that will keep increasing. In 2 years, but no withdrawals, you can see your savings pot is growing quite nicely to 24, retirement pot at 48. Again, look at these as one, meaning your retirement. So let's say you've worked for 5 years and you've built up 300,000 Rand in your pension fund and you contribute 3,000 per month. So we know that all money accumulated up to this point will go into the vested pot. So 300,000 Rand will go into your vested pot. But we also know that the government wants you to start with some money in your savings pot. So 10% once off will go into the savings pot. So there's 30,000 Rand going into your savings pot, meaning your vested pot is at 270,000 Rand. And you contribute 3,000 Rand per month still. And let's say, hypothetically, from after 6 months, you resign. So you can see that your monthly contribution of 1,000 Rand and 2,000 Rand, that's a 1/3, 2/3 split, will go into your savings pot and in your retirement pot. And if you resign after 6 months, you can access your money if you're in a pension fund or a provident fund, not a retirement annuity, only a pension or provident fund, but you'll be able to withdraw that full 270, that's taxed at the withdrawal tables, and you can withdraw 36,000 Rand in your savings pot. But remember, that will be taxed at your marginal tax rate. Let's just have a look at an example. If you had to access money from your savings pot, let's say every year you withdraw the full amount, the 12,000 Rand, 12,000 Rand, 12,000 Rand every year, versus leaving the money in your savings pot for it to grow. And this is purely illustrative. We've just said a 10% return, just for an example, meaning after 40 years, the amount in your savings pot, if you don't touch it, is going to be at 6.3 million, whereas if you withdrew it every single year, you would only have withdrawn 480,000 Rand. Quite a big difference. Again, savings pot only for emergencies. You don't actually want to touch it until retirement. So quite a few questions obviously get raised. So we've put together a few myths. First myth is I'll have access to all my retirement savings from the 1st of September 2024. When the new two-pot system goes into effect, retirement fund members will only have access to money that's in the savings pot. This is the new system, and to make sure that you're not starting from 0, 10% of your existing retirement savings will go into the savings pot. So you'll only have access to that. And going forward, your savings pot will be funded by the allocation of 1/3 going into the savings pot and 2/3 going into the retirement pot. Myth 2, my retirement savings will disappear when the two-pot system kicks in. There's no need to panic. Existing retirement savings will be fully protected and will stay exactly as and where they are in your current retirement funds. The new two-pot system rules will only apply to your future contributions starting on the 1st of September 2024. Only our employee contributions go into the accessible pot. The two-pot system will apply to all contributions to the fund, so it will apply to both employee and employer contributions. I can withdraw from all my pots when I quit my job. As I've said, the two-pot system introduces mandatory preservation. In other words, it forces you to preserve a portion, that 2/3, of your future retirement savings until the day you retire. So under the old or the current system, you can access all your retirement savings if you resign, if you have a pension or provident fund. But under the new two-pot system, you can only access your existing vested pot in the pension or provident fund. And you can only access money from the savings pot, not the retirement pot. Myth number 5, I can access my retirement savings to enhance my lifestyle. So there's been a lot of discussion around the savings pot, but early access to your retirement savings is the exact opposite of the real intention of the two-pot system. Early access will only be granted once a year. That's at one time that you can get it, and should only be accessed for emergencies. It's not intended for lifestyle enhancements, which is why you'll be taxed at your marginal rate of tax, which is, it can be quite high. So if you're planning on using that withdrawal to fund new clothes or fancy dinners, whatever the case may be, you are going to be stealing from your future self, and it's something that you should definitely not be doing. I won't pay tax on withdrawing from my savings pot. I think we've covered this quite a bit. Any withdrawals from your savings pot will be taxed at your normal marginal rate of income tax. Myth 7, I can replace money I withdraw from my savings pot as soon as I'm financially stable again. Your retirement savings are not designed or intended to be a transactional savings account like a check account or a savings account at the bank. So no money that you withdraw from your savings pot can be directly replaced at a later point. The only way to replace that money is by increasing your future contributions over time or doing voluntary contributions to it, which will not be allocated to the savings pot, all of it. Remember, 1/3 of that will only go to the savings pot and 2/3 will go to the retirement pot. I will need to elect to join the two-pot retirement system. The move to the two-pot retirement system will be automatic for all fund members, so there is no action required. The only people who will have a say on whether they want to be included are those members who are older than 55 on the 1st of March 2021 will be the only exception on whether to opt in or opt out. So that's the two-pot system. Just a few points that I just wanted to highlight is that all money in all the pots will remain fully invested in the market. So meaning they will still grow over time. And again, although you have access to the savings pot, please don't access it. It is still earmarked for retirement. And that's all I wanted to cover today. So thank you for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you.